So I've been attending locals for about 2 years or so now, and I really want to be like a bigger part of the actual community here on YouTube. And I don't really consider myself to be exceptionally talented or gifted at dueling or building decks or anything like that, but I really enjoy building and playing Rogue Yu-Gi-Oh decks, so I really wanted to start sharing some of my favorite lists here on YouTube. The deck that I got for y'all today is going to be Marincess. It's one of my all-time favorites, one card starter, super simple to play deck that you can play a ton of non-engine in. The first starter here is Marincess Pasculus. Real simple, she can special summon another Marincess name from your hand, so she is actually really good for avoiding Nibiru. If you open another level 4, you can go straight into a Toad line and summon Toad on summon 4. Butane is the other best starter. She can send any other Marincess name from deck to grave, which gets your Link Blaze rolling. Then Spring Girl, quite possibly the best extender in the deck and also a level 4, so it enables a lot of Xyz plays. You can banish a Marincess monster, and it can also be another copy of her from grave to extend with her. And Seahorse is your inherit summon. She's one of the best cards in the deck because she's full combo by herself. Then we got one copy of Basil and 2 copies of Mandarin. So Mandarin, I have at 2 because we run 1-for-1, and she's also just a really good card, and still not full combo, but pretty good combo. You're still going to end on at least Bubble Reef if you open Mandarin. And then Basil is actually really cool because she has a graveyard effect, which is similar to Return of the Dragon Lords, where if your monsters would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish this instead. And that's it for the main deck Marincess monsters. I'm not running any type of sub-engine or anything like that, like Sharks or Ice Jade. I think that the deck is good without any sort of bricks. Personally, I think that you don't want to have like an Abyss Shark and 3 or 4 non-engine in your hand and just be sitting there dead in the water. It just feels really, really bad, as much as I really do like those engines. For hand traps right now, I'm just running 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, and then Nib for now. I'm not sure how I feel about Nib in the main. It does catch a lot of people off guard, and you can pop the token with Stealth Kraken, but there have been a lot of times where this has just been a dead card in my hand, or 1-for-1 fodder. And we all know why we're playing Ghost Ogre and Ash right now, because of Tenpai. For the spells and traps, we have 2 Dive and 1 Battle Ocean. Battle Ocean is kind of the heart and soul of the deck. It's what allows you to equip to your EMZ Link monster, as long as it's a Marincess, of course. And Dive is like your monster reborn for Marincess, or while this is on the field, it can also be treated as an E-Telly to summon from deck, but this one is a hard once per turn, so we also run cards like 1-for-1 and Monster Reborn to kind of like make sure we can extend as much as possible. And then we also, of course, have the Called By. Gotta have Called By for Shifter. And then we have 2 Tactics right now. I'm on 2 Crossout, and for some reason I'm on Chalice. This should be Droplet, but the main reason why I switched to Chalice instead of Droplet is because a lot of people at my local scene do run Shifter. So in that scenario, Chalice would be a better card because Droplet would be dead in your hand or on the field. And that is it for spells. 2 Wave, 1 Gozen match right now. I like 2 Wave because Wave isn't once per turn, it's also not once per chain, which means that you can sort of force interactions on certain cards. And Gozen match, we all know, is a god card in this deck. And that is it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra. We've got Blue Slug at 2 and Sea Angel at 1. So Sea Angel, a lot of people do like to run at 2, but me personally, I wanted to have the room for a bigger Xyz package. So I think as long as you're able to focus on not banishing this card and keeping this in the loop and recycling it, you'll be fine. You absolutely need 2 Blue Slug though, sometimes 3 but right now I think you can get away with 2. For the Link 2s, we're on 1 Crystal Heart and 2 Anemone. 2 Anemone is standard. A lot of people like to run Splash Mage in this spot, but I like the ability to make our pseudo tower. So personally, I like Crystal Heart. Plus, there's some funny interactions when this is in the EMZ. Like, if Mirror Jade sweeps, you can make this, put it in the EMZ, it doesn't get destroyed. And then for Link 3, we got Marble Rock and Coral Triangle. Marble Rock is actually kind of interesting right now because of her battle effect, which isn't once per turn. So if you have like a handful of Marincess monsters, you can just keep saying you can attack her, essentially. So if she's the only monster you control, you can keep being like, no battle damage, nullify the attack. And Coral Triangle is an essential part of your first play because you really need her to search wave. And it's another reason why I like running 2, is if you already have one, you can search another one off her, and then you have 2 essentially imperms that you can play from your hands during your opponent's turn. For the Link 4s, we're on 1 Bubble Reef, 1 Argonaut, and 1 Zelantis. This is Water Zeus, essentially. What you do is you lock yourself into water, and then you use this effect. Everything on the field gets banished, and if your opponent's not playing a water deck, they're not getting their monsters back. And Argonaut is really good going first or second. She has a spell trap negate as long as she has monsters attached to her. She can special summon one of those monsters during your opponent's turn to negate the activation or the effect of a spell or trap card. And Bubble Reef is usually the monster that you end on if you're unable to search your field spell. Then you go for this line because she can at least dig for like hand traps or board breakers for the next turn. Now our XYZ package, we got 1 Toad, 1 Baja, 1 Dweller, and 1 Kraken. Baja's here for bringing this guy out. This guy is an Omni Negate, and if he's able to destroy the card in the process, then you can also set that card. So pretty busted if it's something like Imperm. Dweller, obviously really good against graveyard decks. I've been trying this against Yubel. I don't think it's actually very good, but maybe more time will tell. And then Kraken, this is a card that I have for Tenpai because it has that blanket effect where it turns everything on the field into water, which, if they're water dragons and not fire dragons, they are not protected by the field spell in the main phase. So, just something for thought. And that is it for extra. Real quick for the side deck, it's just a quick generic side deck. There's really, you can run whenever you want. So like if your locals is really heavy on something like Raid Raptor or like a Towers deck, then maybe like Kaijus are good. But right now I think as far as generic sides, D-Barrier is really good. I think that Lightning Storm, Duster, obviously Droll is really good. And then this is kind of like my hidden tech, I guess. Everybody knows what Zombie World does, but I think that this would also be a really good card for when Tenpai says you go first. You know, you can side this in. Everything on the field becomes zombie monsters. It really doesn't hurt you too bad because you just need your attribute. You don't necessarily need your typing. So if you play this, it's really hard for them to play because they're zombies and not dragons. Alright, that's going to do it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think about it, how I can improve, and what else you guys want to see on here. And then look out for more deck profiles coming soon, guys.